Big win. How do you carry that win over to this week here with another tough opponent coming in Philadelphia?
Yeah, I think like everything has been, I think in this last 6-7 games, we've just been trying to focus on our process of getting better, continuing to do the thing, recognize and do the things that we think we're doing well, close a gap on one or two things each time we step out to be a little bit better at one or two little things, and just trying to show consistency in our performances and play every minute of the game. You know, we can't win the game until you play every minute of the game, and so we've just been focusing on that. You know, the keys to take out of last game, one is just the confidence and the joy that you get from winning games, A, against LAFC, B, in that type of environment, and C, right now just taking 3 points is so big for us that, you know, that it gives you certainly a boost of positivity in your emotion, and it feels like, you know, your work is certainly paying off. So we want to take that energy into the next game and then continue to build on the things that we are doing well and clean up, again, like I said, just clean up some details inside of each of our performances. And the guys have been really focused on that process, which is why I think we found a good foundation of some stability through this step.
What would a win against them say about this group here as you go into the rest of July and into the rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, to put together back-to-back wins against two very good teams would be, I don't even know if I could describe what it would mean to the group, just because of it would almost signal like, okay, whatever happened earlier in the season is truly really behind us. And I think we would probably see that we close the gap again even more, and that, you know, some sign that as you come out of this, you know, what is eventually going to be after the Vancouver game, this Leagues Cup game, that you have maybe a gap that's not insurmountable. Not that any gap is insurmountable. You're just a lot closer, and we do have a lot of home games coming off of that when we come back for those 12 final games. And so, again, momentum, as I always say in this league, is precious. You can see it, whether it's us, you can see it at LAFC. Momentum is precious, and if we can continue to build momentum off of this stretch of games, it can only serve us really, really well for the final tail end of the season.
Do you sense that, even though, I mean, you guys are still toward the bottom there, that early part is sort of behind you anyway, or sort of in the past?
Yeah, in general, I do. You know, I think the early part of the season was just so poisoned with just noise, right? Just negativity in every aspect of things, you know? It just felt bad. And you sense now with the solidifying of results, getting some hard-earned points, not always 3, but points on the road, winning big games like the other night, that it changes the dialogue a little bit and the narrative, and it builds some more positivity inside of it. And to play the way that I asked the guys to play and that we want to play, you can't be in your own head. You can't be pessimistic or negative. Like, you really have to be optimistic. You have to be joyful. You have to be out in the open, because it's about expressing yourself with the ball, with a freedom of mind. And you don't want to be in this lockdown sort of place where you're afraid to make mistakes, or you're trying to do too much, or you're trying any of those things. And so, again, I do feel like we are really scratching heavily on the surface of getting out of sort of that mode that we were feeling earlier into a completely different place. And so the window being open, all these things is just an opportunity to continue to build our group, but also these games are an opportunity to build our momentum in the right direction.
Speaking of the window, you guys are rumored to be in position to pick up a piece from Miami. Can you confirm that? Any thoughts on that, or where do you stand?
Nah, there's zero to confirm there. So we will look to make the team better, and we're having discussions around the league. Some more accurate than others, you know, maybe. But we need to. We're pretty specific on what we're trying to find to add to our group, and so we're going to stay pretty steadfast in that space as to what our needs are. And we have there's a number of solutions that we're looking towards, just to continue to build the group. We hope it's not 1 or 2, we hope it's 3 or 4, and so it's we got our work cut out for us, but there's a lot of work going on to try to help our group continue to move forward.
With Caceres going down with the injury, will you move him to the injury list, season injury list? Or
it's a possibility. It's under we're discussing now with docs, with everybody, with Martin, just because it's to really get a sense of the likelihood and the probability of him making it back for any portion of the season, even if it were the playoffs. What would that look like? because as of right now, we obviously have 12 games plus the 2 we have, 14 games I think we are left, where we've got to get ourselves even into a playoff spot, and so we need to have as much help now as possible. But so we want to get a sense of what the timelines look like, and if he were to come back, how much could he actually really come back for? So this is an assessment that we're making with everybody right now.
I see Eric's back out here. What's his, well, he was here earlier. But
Yeah.
What's his status for this week?
He won't be available for Saturday. We're at Saturday, right? I'm so lost in what day it is. But he should be hopefully back by the next one. He had a mild quad strain, which is always a little bit precarious because a mild can turn into something more very quickly. So we have to be cautious, but it was mild enough that we hope that within the next 7 days or so he'll be able to be back involved fully within the group. So we'll kind of monitor that as we go.
And Bond, what's his status?
Bonnie was out training today, so I'll get an assessment when I go in just to see exactly where he is, how he's feeling, all those kinds of things. So I know he was still a little bit sore yesterday, but they weren't saying anything, in terms of significant on the MRIs and stuff, but that doesn't mean that everything is okay. So we just have to see how he feels today, how free he feels in his movements and the things that he has to do. It'll be probably by the end of the day we make a decision whether we think he's safe and to play and ready to play.
Okay, and Galaxy hasn't played Philadelphia since I think 19. I think. What do you faced Jim
Sure.
for a while? What are your thoughts on his style, his group, his style this season?
Competitive as hell, hard to play against. I mean, they are a lot of density in the middle of the field, a lot of strength and power inside their team. 2 forwards who run their tails off, both on the defensive side and attacking side, so they're just always forcing you to make tough decisions. They play very direct. I think they may be one of the bottom 1 or bottom 2 in terms of actual passes over the course of a game. They're looking to disrupt the game, to create turnovers, to attack you fast. They will play direct, and they really clog up the middle of the field for teams that want to play. So they make it difficult. They're a really combative and hard team to play against, and they are excellent on set pieces, and they're excellent in transition, and they're excellent in crossing situations. And so we've got to minimize, take away their threats. We still got to try to get the game into our vision of the game as much as possible. We don't want to be in an end-to-end game, over the course of 90 minutes. We still got to find our ways to try to separate their diamond, move them around, open up some spaces, attack their back line, keep possessions, try to move the game into their half of the field as much as we can. And we got to protect ourselves in all these transition moments, with our discipline behind the ball. So it's, their formula isn't unique. They're just one of the better teams at it, and so we have to be really careful with them, but also be proactive in the things that we need to do to help win the game.
All right, thanks, Greg.
Yeah, you got it. Thank you. Yep.